Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler. I am the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios. We're a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart, yes, the heart of Silicon Valley in Palo Alto. We love artificial intelligence and quantum computing, metaverse, and Web3. And with that, I'd like to bring an incredible guest today, Leon Eisen. Leon is a PhD. He's an entrepreneur. He's a chairman. He's a mentor, and he's passionate about digital health. He's built a number of interesting companies in the health tech space. And with that, I'd like to bring Leon on board for all of us. Hi, Leon. How are you doing today?
Hey, Gary. Everything is okay. And thank you for the fantastic introduction. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I couldn't say better.
I'll do it for you. Just tell me what. Just right. I'll say it. Now, you've done amazing things. So I got a question for you. What made you decide to go to the Weissman Institute of Science for a PhD in physics? Did you wake up one morning and said, I'm a little bored. I liked Einstein. I want to do something myself. But what happened?
It's difficult to say, but all my life I was thinking to become professor, because my family, my father is professor and my grandfather was professor. So I was grown in professor family, intelligent family. Mm-hmm. And it happened that I spent 10 years on some scientific technology development. And one day my supervisor told me, maybe you want to get to the next level, because I think that the difference between, for example, second degree, master degree, and PhD, not in knowledge. It doesn't matter how much do you know. The difference is in methodology that you learn during your PhD. You know how to write papers or make copy, right, in science. You understand better methodology, how to make experiment and how to write theoretical resolution of this experiment. And I understood, not me, my supervisor, professor as well, he understood that I have some potential that is not realized yet. And I am very much a lazy guy. And I didn't want some additional difficulty in my life. I am okay. I'm doing science. I'm doing quantum computing. I'm doing laser cooling. I'm happy. And he gave me several recommendations to different professors. And I landed in Weissman Institute of Science in Israel in complex system optics and optical design. And it happened that my professor was one of the creator of holography. So I happened to learn a lot about optics, all these stuff around. So just classical optics, classical physics. Mm-hmm. But all my life, I was eager about quantum mechanics. And by the way, today I found how to implement quantum mechanics in business. And so I decided to continue my education, like postdoctoral research in quantum cooling, quantum computing. And suddenly, after a year of my postdoctoral research, I understood that I want to become an engineer. And this was somehow a aha moment. In the morning, I understood that 15 years in science, almost 15, I'm just exhausted. I wanted to find some application today, not in 50 years. Maybe I'm mistaken, because today quantum mechanics and quantum computing is a very growing business, even business. But in any case, it will take not one decade to get to the result. And I want to have result in my life. So I joined a high growing company doing goggles 10 years before, not 10, 7 years before.
And which company
before
was
Google.
that? Was that Pulsar, or which one was it?
It was Mirage Innovation. and it was unique technology based on my thesis. But unfortunately, it didn't happen for this company. So the company was down because of money issues and patent issues. So I decided to be freelancer. So I started working with many companies on development of very unique sensors specifically for medical devices. And for several years, I was working like freelancer for these companies. For example, I managed development of the of sensors for the world first hemoglobin meter and other stuff. And in 2010, suddenly I understood that I'm going to have my own company. So I was CTO before, C-level executive, but all the time I did some part of the business, some part of technology. And I decided I had an idea. I had some invention in my mind. And I decided to realize this invention by myself. And this is how my entrepreneurial life gets started.
Wow, that's amazing. So you started to realize you wanted to do it. And what was the day that made you decide you wanted to do it? You didn't want to be a professor anymore. Was it one day you woke up and said, I want to run the company. I want to do my own thing. How did it happen?
It's, it's difficult to say. I was working for the company called Pulsar, like CTO, and I came to the founder. I wasn't founder of this company. I came to the founder, quite famous a guy in sensors space.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, look, I have an idea. I think everybody is busy with monitors for the wireless, pulse monitor. Everybody, 2010, everybody was busy. Just started all this stuff. Fitbit, some MyBases, for example, just beginning. And I know how to measure oxygen saturation at wrist. Nobody did succeed before in this. And people said, wow, you're crazy. So that's impossible because it's a very complicated formula there. You cannot do it today with our level of technology. And I said, no, I know how to do it. And I wrote the patent by myself. By the way, half of a year I was working in a patent company, like a patent drafter. So I learned how to do it. And I wrote the patent, and I received some money, about $1 million from, it was 2010, by the way. It's not a good time to raise money. Mm-hmm. From Israel government.
That's a very difficult time to raise money.
Yeah, so I raised about $1 million from Israel government and some friends, and by myself, I invested as well. So it took me about 1 year to raise this capital. And this is how my entrepreneurial destiny really started. So in 2017, we had the FDA clearance for the world first FDA cleared, I would say, world first wrist pulse oximeter. That is medical device.
Wow.
And yes, so we successfully commercialized it. We built it. In the FDA, they couldn't understand what we apply for, what PPG based on wrist. So it's a new device, new technology, or this is some old technology just implemented in new place, but it's actually new technology using some off-the-shelf historical data, but it's new technology called transillumination technology, and that's why we succeeded to do it. And still today in 2022, there are 2 devices having pulse oximetry FDA clearance in the market.
Wow, that's amazing. And so did you like it? So I know you've written a lot of patents. Do you enjoy writing patents?
No, I don't like it at all.
What made you decide to start writing them then? Because you've got a lot on here.
I didn't write all these patents. So I wrote the first patent. Mm-hmm. And then I just delegated. I write like any inventor. I write by 1 page about what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And just delegated. We hired. We are working with a very famous company called Mins. I'm working for a long time, more than 10 years with Mins Lab, and I like it very much. Great company and very good professionals. And this way, they write me very quickly. For a month, they can write any provisional, any patent, and I'm happy working with them.
Well, that's great. So tell me a little bit
Yeah,
about.
I ask them some payment for advertising. So.
There you go. Yeah, just a second. Oh, they just no. I'm just kidding.
Right.
So, you know, you're an inventor of the world's first wrist FDA cleared wearable pulse oximetry monitor. So, you know, you're right. Over the last decade, you know, we've seen these, and I wear myself. I wear the Fitbit, right? The Charge 5. But where are these wearable devices going to go? How far down the stream are they going to get? So what's going to happen next? So let's say a Fitbit 6. What's going to look like? What are they going to do differently than they do today?
For wellness, for wellness, I'm not sure they can do something differently. They just add more and more vital signs, stealing all this stuff from medical devices. So they just populate wearable, wellness wearable by medical stuff. That, for example, 10 years ago, if you say, I have pulse oximetry for wellness, FDA immediately will go after you. Today, there is no actual line between wearable and medical. So if you don't claim, I gonna help patients, you can use it. But actually, many physicians use Fitbit, Apple, and other devices. So a lot of things happen, and FDA changed their requirement. So today, what happened that medical devices, wearables, were just moved to the corner for very high risk patients, like in hospital, post-acute stage. And this is where we find our niche. It's a big niche, but all other niches are occupied by wearables, wellness wearables. By the way, the world's first wearable medical device was invented in 107. You know, do you see?
Yeah, really.
So it's 300 years ago.
That's amazing.
It's called stopwatch for measurements, for pulse measurements. So that's amazing, interesting.
I didn't know that's a stopwatch. That's interesting. So what, you know, if you look at it, you can look at patients and predicting what's going to happen in the future. And so number one is, how good are we getting at that? And number two is, you've got an idea of predicting about consciousness and creating reality at your will. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff because quantum mechanics, more than 100 years already here. And we never used it except some people who is from psychological business and some mindfulness and nobody did use it, and they didn't use it correctly. And what is the quantum mechanics in general? It's a theory about micro world, because we cannot touch it. So people had to build a theory around it and some specific mathematical tools, how to define where we're gonna have and how to get with pincetta into this world. And so we're not talking about prediction here. Okay, I started from prediction in healthcare because let's back to the healthcare business. When we manage to measure patients for a long time, and we have a lot of vital signs synchronously, you can have the pattern on these patients every second, and this pattern is very much dynamic. And through some time, you can build patient baseline, and using this baseline, you can identify the direction and trend of this patient, whether this trend is toward deterioration or towards some good health. And this is very important. This is what all AI, but in healthcare, there is no AI. It's augmented intelligence, we call it. It's not artificial intelligence, because I'm not sure if machine tells you go to make surgery, you will go you will go to the doctor to ask question, why machine told me this. So in any case, it's augmented intelligence for the doctors to help doctors to understand what to do with these patients, to titrate a medication and all this stuff. So this is what our product in Oxytone is doing: collect data, build pattern, and augment patient decision.
Got it.
And this is prediction. Now we're talking about not prediction. We're talking about taking reality from future here. It's the next step beyond prediction, because prediction is based on what? Prediction is based on historical data.
Yeah. But how do we create the future using unsupervised AI, right?
Now we're going to predict based on future data. Predict based on future data. From our classical world view, we are living in three-dimensional world, classical world. That's impossible, because for us there is no future.
Yeah.
But from the view, if you are sitting in micro mirror, quantum mechanical mirror world, you are in a micro world, in quantum mechanical world. For you, there is no time. For you, there is no space. You know, photon. If you're running with the velocity of light, space and time doesn't exist. And this is what quantum mechanics experiments all tell us. So if you know this future, today you can bring this future. I know you are using practices of visualization of success, right?
Yeah.
This is something very close.
And do you do it too, Leon? Do you use visualization for your success?
I used to. But today I made one step further. So I visualize and I build the stage in 3 years, for example. I take something in 3 years, for example, where I want to be, where my company is going to be, who I am going to be in 3 years. And I build it in a way like it happens today. So I understand and I formulate the goal, but it's actually not a goal. For me, it's a state in future. It's like, you have the movie. Movie is recorded already in your flash or in Netflix. What you see the movie in time, right? It's just roll out in time. Same way our world is built. In quantum mechanics, there is no time. Everything.
So what happens in quantum mechanics if you're in quantum, in that you'll never age?
Yes, sure. Never age. Because time doesn't happen.
I want one of those.
Yeah, right. But what we have, because
No,
we have...
Leon, I'm looking at something that turns the clock back. I don't want to just stop at where I am. I want to go back about 25 years,
we will come to this. I hope our scientists will find how to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
But in this case, we have to change our observation abilities. Because in quantum mechanics, the most important thing is observer. Observer, it is who collapses the quantum mechanical stage in his projection in our world. And what's interesting that in 50 years ago, American physicist Everett, he discovered that we are living in multiple parallel worlds at the same time. It's not multi-universe.
Do you think we are, Leon? Do you think there's others, seriously, in like these different environment, different realities? As a physicist, what do you think? Do you think it's possible?
In quantum mechanics, based on all theory and equations, it's possible. And it's how it works. And there is very interesting experiment which shows that our conscience influence on reality. Don't remember exactly his name, famous professor in the United States. He did experiments through the 5 or 6 years where he took the slit two slits, and send one photon through these slits.
Yeah.
And based on quantum mechanics, on the screen beyond this, behind this, have some interference pictures. So maximum, minimum.
Yeah.
And he take, in the beginning, people around his laboratory and ask them, it was closed, so nobody did see this experiment, but he asked them to think about it, to focus on it. So for 30 seconds to focus, for 30 seconds relax, 30 seconds focus, 30 seconds relax. And what he realized that this interference picture just shrink 5 sigma in amplitude.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what's interesting, that people who are doing meditation influence much more than people who are not. And most important, you have to focus. And
now, what about you, Leon? Leon, do you think you focus? Are you focused? What do you think? Do you do meditation? I'm just curious because you know a lot about this stuff. What do you think? Are you focused in your life? Do you focus on stuff?
My focus is not during meditation. My focus happens because I get into details. How do I build future in 3 years? This is exactly focus. So if you just draw details about where your company, it's not just KPIs. Yeah, I have the revenue 10 million, I have this, I have that, I have. No, this is really, you build reality today, and as close to, in details, to this reality as better probability that it will happen, because in quantum mechanics, everything based on probabilities. So what we say usually in quantum mechanics, we say that there is a field of probabilities potential, and our experience collapse this field into the particle of reality where we are living. So this is exactly what we have. If you build the future today, you know exactly how to get there. But most important, this is exactly, I call it Waze navigator for your life and for your company. Because when you get Waze, what you do, you write your destination. And Waze start to think from your destination backward.
Yeah.
This is what I call backward thinking. So on the road,
wait a minute. What did you say? You think about your good. Say that one more time. Going backward. Just repeat that for me. Backward thinking. You explain that one more time.
Yeah, backward thinking. Then you set up your reality in future, and then the build or navigate. You build the road back to today. You define some milestones, and at each milestone you define agenda, how to reach the next milestone,
so that's kind
what
of like,
resources you
like
need.
The real steps to visualization, right?
Exactly. And this is what Waze is doing. So if you on the road has some obstacles or traffic, Waze immediately compare current status with something new, and give you some update on your road, on your way. So this is exactly how it works. If you have your direction backward, and if something happens, people, I don't know, year in a coma, in a year just wake up and know exactly where to go.
Right.
But you have to understand all this stuff around KPIs, resources, what kind of people you want to have, what kind of partners, what kind of relationships. So you build your business like today. But most important, when you come to investor, after you did all this work, not everybody can do it. And because you start to explain to investor this through your experience that you have already about this future,
right?
It's totally different. You are so self-aware. You're so you have amazing presentation in this way, and you can convince investor because you convince through your experience, like it was in the past.
Wow. No, I love this stuff. Listen, we're coming up to the top of the show. So what are your closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you?
I think recently I became mentor in Israeli Expert Institute. The last 2 years I am living in Israel. And I decided to help a lot of companies using my technology. And this really works. So you can go to my LinkedIn and read recommendations and testimonials. So what I understand, this really works. And this helped me to develop further my technology. And I think it could help a lot of people who know how to think with future terms, with understanding the future. And I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to this, and I like it very much. And also, I learn from my students and from companies I'm working with, because I get feedback, and all the time I just correct my vision based on their feedback.
Wow, that's great feedback, Lou. I love that. And what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
They could go to LinkedIn and send me invitation. Everybody is invited. And also they can apply to you for mail. My mail is available, but the best way through LinkedIn to find me. And I'm open to any collaboration.
No, that's great. Thank you very much, Leon. I appreciate your time taken out of your busy schedule today.
Thank you, Gary.
To my audience out there, thank you for joining one more time to GSD Presents Get Shit Done. Venture Studios presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And I'm your host, Gary Fowler. So enjoy yourself. Have a great rest of the day. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. And stay tuned for another exciting edition on Thursday. See you soon. Thanks, Leon. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.